Elon Musk was walking down the street when he saw a black man being wrongfully arrested, pleading with tears in his eyes. Please, I didn't do anything. What Elon did next will leave you absolutely speechless. It was a regular afternoon. People were walking, cars were honking, and the city was alive with its usual noise among the crowd. Elon Musk was walking with his security team after visiting one of his Tesla projects. Nearby, he seemed relaxed quietly, observing the world around him. No one in the busy street expected what was about to happen next. As Elon walked, he suddenly stopped. Something unusual was happening across the road. A loud, desperate voice broke through the noise of the city. Please, I didn't do anything. You've got the wrong person. Elon turned his head to see a black man dressed in a simple delivery uniform being held roughly by two police officers. The man, who we later know as David Johnson, looked terrified. His eyes were wide with fear, and his voice cracked as he tried to explain himself. Tears ran down his face as he struggled to make the officers listen to him. A small crowd had gathered around the scene. Some people pulled out their phones to record, but Noon stepped forward to help the officers. Were yelling at David, accusing him of stealing from a nearby store. David kept shaking his head, pleading, I swear, I didn't take anything. Please check the cameras. But his words seemed to fall on deaf ears. Elon stood there for a moment, watching. His face, usually calm and composed, began to change first. There was confusion, then concern, and finally determination. He couldn't just walk away. Something about the man's cries felt wrong. Elon turned to his security team and said firmly, I need to see what's going on. His team hesitated. One of them tried to stop him, saying, Sir, this isn't safe. Let's keep moving. But Elon raised his hand, signaling for silence. No, he said, I can't ignore this. Elon crossed the street, walking straight toward the scene. The crowd parted as they noticed him. Some whispered, Is that Elon Musk? Others just watched, wondering what he was about to do. David, still struggling, looked up and saw Elon approaching. For a moment, hope flickered in his tear-filled eyes. Elon stopped in front of the officers, his voice calm but firm. Excuse me, officers, what's going on here? The officers looked surprised. One of them frowned, replying, This man is a suspect in a theft case. Please step back. Elon didn't move. Instead, he glanced at David, who was now trembling, and then back at the officers. What evidence do you have against him? Elon asked, his tone sharp. The officers seemed taken aback by the question. One of them stammered. We were told someone matching his description stole from a store. Elon's eyes narrowed. Matching his description. That's not proof. Did anyone actually see him steal anything? Did you check the cameras? The officers didn't have a clear answer. Elon turned to the crowd and raised his voice. Did anyone here see what happened? Does anyone have video of this man stealing? The crowd began murmuring. Several people stepped forward, shaking their heads. No, we didn't see him do anything, one woman said. Another man added he was just standing there when the police grabbed him. Elon's jaw tightened. He could see this was a case of injustice. David looked at Elon, his voice shaking as he said, I swear, sir, I didn't do anything. I was just making a delivery. Elon placed a reassuring hand on David's shoulder. Don't worry, he said. We'll get to the bottom of this. What happened next would not only shock everyone there, but also inspire millions around the world. The street fell silent as Elon Musk stood face to face with the police officers. The tension in the air was thick, and all eyes were on him. The officers looked uneasy. They weren't expecting someone like Elon Musk to get involved. One of the officers spoke up, his tone defensive. Sir, this is a police matter. Please step back. But Elon didn't back down. He looked directly at the officer and said, a police matter then. It's your duty to make sure you're arresting the right person. Where's your proof? Did you see him commit a crime? The officer hesitated for a moment. We were told by a store clerk that someone matching his description stole from the shop, that it's enough for us to investigate. Elon shook his head, his voice firm but calm, matching his description. That's not proof. What exactly did he take? Have you checked these security cameras? Or did you just assume? He's guilty because of how he looks. David, still trembling, spoke up. Sir, I didn't steal anything. I was just delivering a package nearby. I even have the receipt with me. He reached into his pocket, but the officers stopped him, shouting. Don't move, the crowd gasped. The fear in David's eyes was clear, but Elon stayed calm. He raised his hand and said, let him show his receipt. He's not resisting. He's trying to prove his innocence. Reluctantly, the officers allowed David to pull out a crumpled piece of paper. It was a receipt from the delivery he had just asked. His voice, soft but firm. David, looking up, wiped his stares and nodded, but there was no confidence in his expression. I don't understand, he said, his voice breaking. I've been working so hard doing my job, just trying to pay rent. And this happens. Why does this keep happening to people like me? I didn't do anything wrong. Elon placed a hand on his shoulder, an unspoken reassurance. He could see how much this had shaken David, but he wasn't about to let it end. Like this, not without taking action, but just. As the moment seemed to stand still, the unexpected happened. A man in a suit pushed through the crowd, panting as he came up to the officers holding up a piece of paper. He was the store manager. From the shop where the theft had supposedly occurred, his face was flushed, as if he had just run a marathon. Wait, there's been a mistake. The managers howled. The officers who had been standing there awkwardly turned their attention to him, confused. Elon raised an eyebrow. Sensing there was more to the story, I've checked the security footage, the manager continued, his voice shaky. This man wasn't involved in the theft at all. There was a mix-up with the description, and we've just confirmed there. All thief, it's not him. This is all a mistake. The crowd gasped. David's knees nearly buckled. He had been shaking with fear this entire time, convinced his life was about to change forever. The relief hit him all at once, and he collapsed, Slidell, his hands going to his face. I'm so sorry, the manager continued, now addressing David directly. I didn't realize we had made the wrong call. Please forgive us. But Elon wasn't satisfied with the apology. His expression turned icy as he turned toward the officers. A mistake. Elon repeated, his voice low, his words cutting. This isn't just a simple mistake. This was a life-altering moment for this man, and it's not okay. You've humiliated him in front of everyone, and now you expect a simple apology to make it all better? One of the officers stammered. We were just doing our job, sir. The report came in that the description matched. We had no choice. No choice. Elon's voice grew stronger. You had a choice. You chose to arrest an innocent man without checking the facts. You chose to act on a vague description instead of confirming with the store or even reviewing the video footage, and you did it all without a second thought for the human being you're about to destroy. The officer fell silent, unable to respond to the harsh truth that Elon was laying out. The crowd had gone from whispering to full-on cheering for Elon's bravery. But David, still processing everything, turned to Elon. His eyes filled with gratitude and disbelief. Why are you doing this for me? David asked, his voice breaking. You don't even know me. I'm just a delivery guy trying to make a living. Elon looked him in the eyes, his expression softening. David, it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. You're a person, and no one deserves to be treated like this. Especially not by the system that's supposed to protect us. It's not about knowing you. It's about doing the right thing, and what's happening here is wrong. Just as Elon was about to turn away, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and without hesitation posted a tweet. An innocent man was almost arrested today because of a rushed judgment. This isn't just a personal mistake. It's a system-wide problem we need to address. Racial profiling and wrongful arrests. Justice for all. The tweet went viral. Almost instantly, messages of support flooded in from celebrities, activists, and everyday people all over the world. They shared their stories of similar experiences, joining together in solidarity. Elon didn't stop there, David. He said, looking at the man who had been wrongly accused, this isn't over. We'll make sure you get the justice you deserve. I'm calling my legal team to help. David looked up at Elon, his eyes wide with disbelief. You don't have to do this. I'm just happy it's over. But Elon shook his head. Number, this is just the beginning. No one should go through what you just did. I'm going to make sure people hear your story. Several days later, Elon reached out to David again. This time, he had a different kind of surprise. He invited David and his family to Tesla's headquarters for a personal visit. When David arrived, he was greeted by a warm team, and Elon personally gave him a tour of the facility. David couldn't believe it. He'd spent the past week in a daze, trying to process everything that had happened. But now he was walking through the doors of one of the most innovative companies in the world. Elon spoke with him about the work Tesla was doing to make the future brighter. But all David could think about was how far he'd come from that terrifying moment on the street. At the end of the tour, Elon led David to a sleek, shiny car parked in the lot. "What's this, David?" asked, confused. Elon handed him the keys. "It's a brand new Tesla. You've been through a lot, David, and this is my way of saying thank you for your strength. You deserve a fresh start." He couldn't speak, his hands trembling as he held the keys. Finally, he managed to say, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you so much." Elon smiled, a rare but genuine moment of warmth. "You don't have to say anything. Just take this and know that there's a lot more good in the world than Urali's." News of Elon's actions spread like wildfire. What started as a personal act of kindness soon became a symbol of what happens when people with power use it to fight for justice. Elon Musk's commitment to David inspired millions. Around the world, racial injustice, wrongful arrests, and inequality were put front and center in a way that hadn't happened before. David's life was forever changed, not just by the kindness of a stranger, but by the ripple effect that came from one man's decision to stand up and make a difference. The story didn't just end with a new car or a viral tweet. It sparked a movement, one that demanded justice, compassion, and fairness for everyone, regardless of who they were, and it all began with one moment, one decision to not walk away when injustice was staring him in the face.